If it's time to create a new listing, you're probably facing a ton of questions and confusion about where do you go to create a new product listing? How do you get your actual brand name entered into the listing? What will you need as far as barcodes to be able to create the listing? Today, I'm going to break down a full walkthrough and Amazon tutorial on creating your first product listing or creating a new product listing. There's so many new changes and updates, guys. I want to walk you through this process so you'll be able to enter your actual brand name on the listing. You'll know exactly which barcodes you need and exactly what you should do to create your listing and when you should create it in today's video. Welcome to the channel. If you're new, welcome back those of you who are my subscribers. My name is Brian Noonan. I'm a full-time Amazon FBA seller, mentor, and coach. Right here on my YouTube channel, I release a weekly video covering everything Amazon, e-commerce, personal development. So if you enjoy learning about that, please do me a favor right now. Head on down and press subscribe. I can see each and every one of you who take just a moment to subscribe, and I appreciate each of you. My job right here on this channel is to help educate, teach, impact as many lives as possible, sharing my story, experiences, and documenting of how I went from a struggling, broke drug addict 7.5 years ago to being able to own multiple six-figure online businesses. Let's jump into the video to get your listing created. Alright guys, well, welcome inside my computer. Let's jump into it and get started. This is going to be a full walkthrough and tutorial, step-by-step guide on how to create your listing, right? Creating your listing, there's a lot of moving parts, but the good news is after you create your listing and get it kind of the initial draft listing entered into the Amazon catalog or into your seller account, and you save it, and you get the barcode, including the FNSKU barcode, which I'll talk about. You do the shipping plan, you send those to your supplier or freight forwarder, or 3PL. At that point, guys, you are just about ready for launch. You're like over halfway there because all that's left really is finish up the listing optimization, including bullets, description, images, get your photos done, and then just get prepared for launch, right? So creating a listing is an important step. The first thing I do want to talk about is when do you create the listing? When should we first enter the new product listing? This is a super important step, guys, to pay attention to because once you create your product listing, two things happens. Number one, once you enter the product into the Amazon catalog, other sellers can see that listing. So for those of you out there who are developing a really unique product or doing a custom design or you improve the product really, really well, which is so important these days, if you upload a main image or if Amazon makes you upload a main image when you create that listing and it's like 60 days away before your product will arrive to Amazon, other sellers can see that. So be careful. The other thing is Amazon starts collecting data on your listing once it's created in their system. So when is the ideal time or best time to create a new product listing? Should you do it right after you find the product and you start reaching out to suppliers and got a sample? Or should you wait until the product gets to the USA, like a port or your 3PL? There's two times or two ways I'd go about creating a new product listing. Number one, guys, you can create the listing roughly 30 days away from when your product is going to launch. Now, typically, sea shipping DDP is going to take 30 days. So this would mean you have to wait to create your product listing until your product is just about being done, being made at the factory. So if your lead time or production time is 30 days, you would essentially create the listing about 1 week or less before production is going to be done or the end of production. And then you create the listing, then you do the shipping plan, you send the supplier the barcodes or the freight forwarder the barcodes, and then the freight forwarder handles the DDP shipping to Amazon. The least amount of days as possible in between when you create the listing and when you launch, the better. So step one, you can do it about 30 days before your product is set to arrive at Amazon. The second thing, guys, is you can wait to create your new product listing until your products arrive at a 3PL warehouse in the United States. So for those of you out there who are sending the product to a 3PL first, or maybe your freight forwarder has a warehouse in the US, just tell your supplier, please put this FNSKU. No, you can't even get the FNSKU barcode. You would just tell your supplier, please ship the product to my 3PL warehouse in California or Texas. And then once the products get there, that's when you would do the listing and shipping plan and send in your barcodes, and then you'd be launching within about a week. Benefit of waiting to create your listing until just about a week before you're going to launch, or less than a week, is a little bit more of a honeymoon period or boost. The honeymoon period is a super important time. This is going to be the first 2 to 3 weeks right after you launch. This will be the first 2 to 3 weeks right after you launch. It's so important during this time that we get as many sales, reviews, and sales velocity going as possible to prove to Amazon, hey, we have a good product. Our product should be on page 1. That's the honeymoon period. Now, I recently made another video, which I'll link up there, which will walk you through the Maldives honeymoon period launch strategy. That's a part 2 video. I made 2 videos on the Maldives strategy. That's working the best right now to launch new products. But let's jump into it. So how do we create the listing? And what do we need to be able to create the listing? There's 2 really main things, guys, that you'll need. No, 3 things that you'll need to create the listing. Number 1, you'll need a UPC or GTIN barcode from gs1.org. In order to create the listing, you'll need a GTIN or UPC barcode or a GTIN exemption, which I'll show you how to apply for. Number 2, we'll need a sort of finalized product title or product name. And then 3, guys, before you create the listing, we need to submit pictures of your product to Amazon with your logo on the product. Now, where do you get one product with your logo? You'll have to order a custom sample from your supplier. So before you order a custom sample, guys, from your supplier, you are going to need to pick out a brand name. Make sure that brand name is available on trademarkia.com. Just do a quick search, make sure it's available. No one else has trademarked it already. Check your brand name is available. Go to Fiverr.com. You get a logo done for your brand. Send the logo to your supplier and then ask them to print it on at least one of your samples. They usually can't do it on the packaging, but if they can, that's super helpful. The ways that they'll put your brand name or logo on the product sample is silk screen, heat transfer. They can print it, they can engrave it, they can etch it. As long as it's permanently affixed, guys, stickers won't work. Before you create the listing, guys, you will need to get what's called brand approval or a brand exemption. This means that before we create the listing, you get a custom sample to your house. It's just one product with your logo. You take a few pictures of the product just on your desk, but has that logo on it permanently affixed. And then we're going to go through the steps inside Seller Central to submit the pictures of your product with branding, your brand on there or logo on there, to Amazon. And then they're going to unlock your account. This will solve and get rid of error code 5665. Amazon must approve your brand. I don't recommend trying to push the listing through now with just NA or generic or some random brand name or initials like we used to be able to do a few months back when I made part 1 of creating a listing video. But now what we have to do is actually get brand approval before we create the listing in order to be able to enter your brand name on the listing, because you're going to get an error message when you try to enter anything now in the brand name box when you create a new product listing, and that's an issue. And then the other thing is Amazon now has made it where you can't go back in and change the brand name after the listing has been created. So that's going to be a super important step, guys. Now, how do you go through that process of submitting all that? You're going to go up to the top right in your seller accounts. This is going to go to help. And then you're going to come down here, guys, to get more help, get support right here. Then you're going to come over here on the left and do selling on Amazon. And then not this, because you can't do attachments right here. So you're going to come down here and click browse your issue in the menu. Then it's going to be product listings or inventory. Then we're going to come down to trouble adding a product. And then here you can't add attachments again. So we're skipping over that. We're going to go to contact us right here. And then here, guys, and that was really complicated, they've made it, but this is where you'll do the brand approval. So contact reason, error code 5665, Amazon brand exemption, or evidence of branding on product. Describe your issue, guys. This is going to be where you kind of say, hello, good day, sir or madam, comma, enter. We are submitting evidence that we own brand name, whatever your brand name is. You can verify this by checking the attachments down below. You will see permanent branding of our brand name or logo on our product and packaging in the attached images below. So you type that message out there. You'll come down here to contact method, email, and you're going to click on this little add attachments and then upload at least 2 images of your product with logo, and then packaging with logo if you have one. if you don't have one of the packaging, actually the product logo on product is more important, but if you do have the packaging, it helps. The other thing that helps, guys, is if you do have a website, enter it up here in the message box. You can verify we own the brand name by visiting our website, www.yourbrandname.com, or if you've set up a one-page website, you can enter it here, and then maybe you add an attachment of a screenshot of your website. That helps. But at least 2 pictures, guys, added as an attachment of your product with permanent logo on it, and then your email here, guys, and then send, and then 1 to 3 days, Amazon's going to unlock your account, and they say, okay, we see that you own the brand name XYZ, and now your account's unlocked to create all new listings that you want with your brand. Okay, so that's a super important step there, guys. Now let's talk about the next thing you're going to need to be able to create a new product listing, which is title and barcodes. Now let's talk about barcodes. What barcodes are you going to need to be able to create the listing? In order to create the listing, you need a GS1 UPC barcode or a GTIN barcode from GS1 or a GTIN exemption. To get the GS1 UPC barcode or GS1 GTIN barcode, you go to gs1.org. Over here on the right, you'll get barcode in the United States right here. And you can actually buy, if you just have one product, no variations, you just need one product added, you can buy one GTIN barcode right here, get a GTIN. You can buy one GTIN for $30 right here, guys, $30. If you had 2 products, you could buy 2 of these for $60, or if you have multiple products, like 5 products or 4 different colors, you'll need 4 barcodes. And so here you can see it's going to be 10 UPC GTINs for $250 plus $50 annual renewal. But if you just have 1 product or 2 products to add, guys, I do recommend just buying 1 or 2 of these GTIN barcodes for $30, no renewal fee. That's going to be required for entering the listing. So that's the only place I recommend getting barcodes these days. We used to be able to get them from Nationwide Barcode. If you're doing a test listing, like you're just sending in 10 units to see how the product sells, then you're not ever going to use that listing again. You can still buy your UPC GS1 barcode from nationwidebarcode.com because it's just a test listing. But for official real listings, only get your barcodes from GS1, UPCs, or GTINs. Instead of having to, and then one more thing important, guys, about these barcodes, you only need to buy the GTIN or UPC barcode from gs1.org in order to create the listing. And then usually you're never going to use that barcode again. We get the FNSKU barcode after you create the listing and switch it over to FBA. Amazon's then going to give you the FNSKU barcode, and that's the one you're going to send to your supplier or your package designer or your freight forwarder. But more often than not, your supplier, who will print out that FNSKU and label 1 on each unit. The other thing you can do, guys, instead of having to buy barcodes, is you can go to Catalog, Add Products, scroll down here to What's a GTIN Exemption, and we are going to do What's a GTIN, check your status. We're going to be doing What's a GTIN, click Learn More, and then we're going to scroll down under number 2 here, and I believe it's Apply, number 1, Apply for a GTIN Exemption. A GTIN exemption, guys, means you don't have to buy any barcodes for this product. So if I wanted to call it Brian's Designs, that's my brand name that's on my product. Let's say the category is Home and Kitchen. We'll just select Home and Kitchen, and my brand name is Brian Designs. You can click Check for Eligibility, and you can see, guys, here it says brands require approval. Amazon must approve your brand, error code 5665. That's the error you're going to see here in a minute that I just covered by having to go through all those steps inside Seller Central in the help section. You're submitting evidence that you own the brand name, Brian's Design, by submitting those pictures of your product with logo, and then your website if you have it, and typing out that message. So we went over when to create the listing. We went over what barcode you'll need to create the listing, how to apply for a GTIN exemption, and how to get brand approval. One more thing about brand approval, guys. Brand approval is not brand registry. Brand approval is just for submitting evidence that you own the brand name with the logo on the product, so Amazon unlocks your account. So that when we create any new product listing in the future, and including this one, you're able to enter that brand name on the listing. Brand registry is totally different. Brand registry you need a trademark on your brand. And you can apply for a trademark with LegalZoom or trademarkia.com. You can file your USPTO trademark. In 1 to 3 weeks, you'll get a serial number. Once you have that serial number, you can apply for and get Amazon brand registry with a pending US trademark. Or for those of you guys who out there already have a fully issued trademark from USPTO, you can apply and get Amazon brand registry too. If you're just getting started, guys, to do this brand approval, to get a logo done, to send the logo to your supplier, you don't need to have a brand registry or a trademark. That's just for brand registry, okay? Now, let's go over what the listing is. So essentially, guys, the listing is 5 things. It's a product name or title, most important for ranking. It's photos, 7 to 9 professional photos. It's key product features, which are 5 bullet points. It's description, which is roughly 2 to 4 short paragraphs halfway down the page that are right down here. If I click on this listing, this one will probably have A+ content. So once you get brand registry, guys, you'll have A+ content, which will replace your product description. But here you can see this is your description. You could type out all this if you don't have brand registry, but if you do, that's when you can add all these graphics and images here. But for those of you just getting started, it'll just be like this, just this text for your description. Here are those 5 or 6 bullet points. You can see this one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So sometimes for new products, guys, you can go and check inside your back end of your listing. You may be able to add 6 or 7 bullet points. Here is the title, and right there, 200 characters or less is always safe. And then images, roughly 1500 by 1500 pixels, JPEG, usually or PNG work the best, and it's 7 to 9 professional images there. And then a video you can upload once you get brand registry. So that's kind of, and then keywords are optimized throughout the listing, including title, bullets, description. That's kind of an overview, guys, of what the main things are that make up a product listing. Now let's go through the steps of actually creating the listing in your seller account. We're going to go to Catalog, Add Products. We're going to scroll underneath the search here. We're going to, I'm adding a product not sold on Amazon. And here, guys, I recommend just going to search. So if I'm selling this photo, smart digital photo frame, I'm going to be going here, digital photo frame, to search for the category. This is a really important step, guys. When you classify the product or create the listing right here on this step where you classify the product in a main category, you can never change this. So this is a super important category. Now this time they all came up in the main category of electronics, but sometimes you'll have multiple main categories. Like some are in electronics, some are in home and kitchen. Which way do you go? Well, I would come back over here to Amazon, live on Amazon, and I would open digital photo frame or your keyword, your product, and then go through here, and you'll want to look to see the main category that's most popular, that has the highest demand and revenue. So all of these are going to be in electronics, but some of them may be in home and kitchen. So you need to look in your category which one overall has more revenue and the most listings. That's one way you could check. Or you could go to Catalog, Add Products. Then you could just type in here in this search, digital photo frame. And then on the left here, guys, you can see that there's 188,000 listings in electronics, 31,000 in cell phones, 12,000 in industrial, 1,000 in home and kitchen. So electronics is probably going to be the best one to go with for this product. Does that make sense? So you can look on the page 1 and run X-ray also to check where your main competitors are for what main category. Or you can look in the catalog and see the over here in X-ray, it's on the far right, so digital picture frames. So you would want to select that one. So just make sure that you can pull up a couple of your main competitors, validate what main category they're in, and which one has the highest demand overall for best category. So I'm adding a product not sold on Amazon. We're going to come here to search digital photo frame, search, and then select the correct main category. So digital picture frames, I saw that over here on the main competitors, digital picture frames. So that's the one I'd want to go with. Amazon is usually pretty correct with the accurate category classification. So you'll click select there. All right, guys, once you classify the product in that main category, we've selected the main category, we've looked at the subcategories to make sure that they were accurate, we've picked the best main category because it's so important that we were not able to change it after you create the listing. It's very hard. We're going to click on select, and then this is the page that's going to take you here to next. This is where you enter all your listing details, not only for this step of creating the listing, but then once you save it or come back in while you're waiting for the product to ship to Amazon, or even after you launch, you're able to change the listing details. But the title, guys, right here, the product name or title, this is the one that's really hard to change until you launch. So that's why I recommend entering a finalized title from the very beginning. But here's how the page will look, guys. So if you're on this step, hopefully you've already got your GTIN or UPC barcode or GTIN exemption. You've got a finalized product title, which I'll talk about here in a minute, or product name or title done. Gone through these steps and made sure you classified, you searched for the product and classified it in the right category. And the big one is you've already submitted evidence of branding on your product and packaging, especially the product, more importantly, logo on it, for Amazon to unlock your account and approve you to create any new listings you want with that approved brand name. So guys, let's walk through this. So does this product have variations? You're going to click no. For most of you guys out there, you're just launching one product. You don't have different colors, designs, or packs. You can always add those on later, guys, as long as your product or category classifies for variations. Product ID. Now, if you've gone through and got a GTIN exemption, you will not see this little star asterisk here. If there's no star or asterisk, essentially you would not be required to enter the product ID. So where do you get the product ID? Well, that's going to be this GTIN, GS1 GTIN barcode number you get for $30 from gs1.org. Once you purchase this, guys, right here for brand name, you're going to want to enter your actual brand name, product description. That can just be kind of your product title or product name as well. So I do digital photo frame, you know, with Wi-Fi connectivity and Bluetooth. That's all you need there for product description on GS1. Then you'll buy, then you'll log in, and then GS1 company prefix. If it asks for a company prefix, enter your brand name there that you want to enter here on the listing and brand name. Okay, guys, so we're on this step here. Product ID, once you buy that GTN barcode for $30 or you bought 10 of them for $250, you'll be able to log into your GS1 dashboard and access those barcodes. You'll need one number, generate that number, and then you're going to enter that here, guys. Okay, so let's say it's like this, and then you're going to select GTIN or UPC. You can do either one. Sometimes it makes you do UPC, but GTIN usually always works. Title, guys. We'll come back to that in just a minute. Brand name. This new section says this product does not have a brand name. It lists it as generic. Now, I don't recommend you guys do this anymore, because it used to be if we entered generic, we could come back in later and change that. But now we're not able to change that. And you don't want to enter generic because that opens you up to hijackers who can just jump on your listing because you have no brand name on the listing. Now, even you could still have your brand on your products, of course, but just go through that brand approval steps that I laid out in the beginning of this video so you are able to just enter your real brand name there, okay? Manufacturer, that'll also be your brand name, okay? So Brian's Designs. Okay, now title. Let's talk about where do you get the title. Well, here I've got X-Ray pulled up on my main competitors that sell this digital photo frame. So let's take a look at like some of the ones doing the best with the most revenue. Sorry, I bumped it back, but we'll get it back here in just a minute. So you run X-Ray on one of your main keywords, and then we're going to be looking at your main competitors. Let's look at their titles to get an idea of what keywords do they include in their title, because there's two really important things about your product title. Title is the most important for launch, for organic ranking, for all of that, for conversions, for getting more sales. So the title is so important. But the title is two main things, guys. One, it contains 2 to 4 of your main best keywords. Number two, the best thing about the title is it's convincing. It has some main benefits or features, and it's convincing, gets the customer to click on it. Okay, so you don't want just a keyword stuffed title for the algorithm where it's just digital picture frame, digital photo frame, digital display screen, storage photo video frame. Like, that's too keyword stuffed and doesn't sound appealing to the customer. So it needs to be a nice balance your title of the two. So this seller, I can tell, has done a good job with his or her title. They have the #1 keyword, I'm sure, for this product is right here, digital picture frame. And then they have digital photo frame. So there's their top 2 main keywords in the very first half of their title. That's very important. So guys, the first half of your title, get your 2 to 4 best top keywords in there. And then the rest of it, you know, touchscreen, HD display, 16 gigabytes of storage, easy auto rotate, easy to share, has an app or the access to the cloud. These sound good to the customer and gets people to click on it. Now, where do you get keywords, those 2 to 4 keywords that you're going to include in your title? Check the little box of like the top 10 on X-ray here, then run keyword search. So I checked the little box on the far left of like the top 4 or 5 here on page 1, and then I press get run keyword search. This is a Cerebro reverse ASIN lookup tool, and this is going to give me all the main keywords that these ASINs or sellers are using to rank and get sales themselves. So I have another video where I break down, and I'll try to link it up above or down below, on creating the best listing possible, where I go through and show you step-by-step keyword research in depth, because not only are you going to need those 2 to 4 main keywords for your title, but then you need another kind of 10 to 20 other good keywords for your bullet points, back-end search terms, which I'll show you here in a minute, and keywords on the back end and in your description. So keywords are important for your title, bullets, description, back-end keywords and search terms and subject matter if you have it. But here's how you'll find your keywords. You'll go 1,000 to, like, let's say 50,000 is kind of the range you want to focus on in the beginning. Position rank 1 through 50, match type organic, apply, and then this will kind of narrow it down from 11,000 keywords down to only 59. That's much more manageable. And then here you can see digital picture frames, photo frame digital. You can click on search volume to sort this high to low, but check out that other video where I go more in depth on picking these best keywords based off all this other data. IQ score, competing products, CPR, title density. This keyword would be better than this one because it's still got high search volume, high IQ score, low competing products, but it has a title density of 2 instead of 35. What does this mean? Digital picture frame has 35 other competitors using this keyword in their title. Whereas this one, digital picture frames, has only 2 sellers using it in their title, or out of these ASINs up above. So it's going to be easier to rank for this one versus this one, okay? But you'll do keyword research, you'll get your main keywords, because you'll need your main keywords, a list of about 20 to 25 for optimizing your entire listing. Let's jump back into finalizing or finishing up creating your first product listing. So for illustrations and demonstration purposes, I'm going to, like, you know, get this here, their title, so I'm able to show you how you'll enter it. Of course, you don't want to copy and paste a competitor's title, but for the title, guys, the first letter is capital, and then you can do a comma, or I like to do a dash like this sometimes. So they've got their brand name here. You can actually take this out, guys, in the beginning. I don't recommend putting your brand name in the beginning of your title because you're taking up space, and no one's searching for your brand or knows about your brand in the beginning. So you want to lead off your title with some of the best keywords: digital picture frame, digital photo frame, 10 by 1 inch, 1280 by 800 IPS touchscreen. I would do HD touchscreen display. So I'd probably, like, you know, change it like HD touchscreen display, something like that, guys. So there you get an example of how you'll write your title. Now this one, for this category, can be roughly 200 characters, but it'll go, if your title's too long, it'll come up with an error. Brand name, we can go with Brian's Designs, and you'll probably see a error message that pops up here. Then we're going to go to up top, guys, the offer tab. Here, seller SKU is just digital picture frame. Nobody sees the SKU, just you. Standard price, what are these selling for? Yeah, about $100, $129. So just put a kind of a launch price estimate in the beginning. Condition is going to be new, and then Amazon will ship. Now, if I go up here to images, it's not required that you upload a main image in the beginning. If not, I don't recommend doing so. Now let me show you the other attributes or sections of your listing to finish up the listing. So with those steps I just showed you, that should allow you to press save and finish down here. We've covered the error code 5665, which is what I'm getting here, or product ID is missing. Yeah, product ID is missing. But if you're getting the brand name, you shouldn't get the brand name error code 5665 error because you've already got that. We went to the offer tab and entered a SKU. You don't need tax code. You don't need shipping template. You just need a standard price. The manufacturer price, guys, you could do it like this, where you do $139.99 for manufacturer suggested retail price, and then you do a sale price of one and a standard price. This would be the higher one, $139.99. Manufacturer price $139.99. Sale price $119.99. Does that make sense? And then you could do a sales start date of kind of like when your product would get to Amazon. And then run it out, 2 weeks or 3 weeks. I would set it out a year though, so that it doesn't revert back to the higher price too quickly. You don't want your price to change too fast. Let's go up here, guys, and go over the other areas of finishing up your listing. So with just the information we did on Vital Info tab, Offer tab, you should be able to save your listing. Sometimes it will have you enter a product description, so I would just quickly type in digital picture frame, because you can come back in here and edit this all up. But it's that title, guys, and brand name that are the hard ones to change. And you can never change the barcode or reuse it either. So some of you may see that you have to enter one sentence in the description and then you're able to save and finish. But these are the other main sections of your listing, guys. Obviously, images is where you'll come in and upload your images, 7 to 9 professional images, including your main image on a white background, infographic images, and then the rest are lifestyle action model shots. Under the description tab, this is going to be your 2 to 4 paragraph description in simple HTML format. Bullet point, you can click add more, add more, add more, add more, and do one at a time each bullet point, which are these right here. These are a little bit long, actually. I recommend around 3 sentences, around 2 to 3 sentences, no more. Or else the customer doesn't, take all the time to read them. So the bullet points are really important, guys. You can do, 5 to 7 of them. You'll copy and paste them one at a time. You can use Helium 10 Scribbles is the tool to help you write your listing. Helium 10 Scribbles. It's under Listing Optimization, Scribbles. I'll export and download this to Frankenstein like this. Go to Frankenstein. And then you'll process these keywords, and then you'll be able to, right here, see all these, and then click on process, and then they'll be all over here. And then from here, I would copy all these, and then I would go to Frankenstein, Scribbles, and then I would paste those keywords right over here. And this tool is going to help you, Scribbles, write your listing. So paste it here. You've got your top, say, 10 to 25 keywords, and then they're right here. So as you write out your title, then you'll see it get crossed off. You've already used that keyword. Now that's a bullet point, but you get the idea. You'd write out your title here. It tells you how many characters you've used. Your bullet point number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Your description, your search terms. Now where are search terms, guys? Just a couple more things. We've covered description. We've covered bullet points. You just do no warning applicable here. Then we're going to keywords, guys. This is an important one. You can fill out target audience. You can do other attributes, but these are the 2 main ones, guys. Search terms are the most important. This you can repeat 1 or 2 phrases. Digital photo frame. 1 or 2 phrases you can repeat, but then the rest, guys, are just going to be words. So HD, digital, display, Wi-Fi, app, like that, okay? Separated with a comma or a space. That's search terms. You can get about 10 to 20 there. These are going to be words or keywords that you didn't get a chance to use in your title and bullets. And then subject matter, guys, you can enter 2 to 4 words on each line and then add more. These will be full phrases. You did it, and then here, under more details, the last thing here is you can go under more details and then scroll down. You will want to enter this launch date. When do you expect the product to get to Amazon? You do want to enter launch date and release date here of when roughly you expect the products to arrive to Amazon, okay? Country of origin, you can type in China or wherever the product's coming from. And then here, guys, item dimensions and package dimensions. Item dimensions would be for this frame set up like this. What's the frame when it's set up? That would be item dimensions. Package dimensions would be the frame flat in a box. Does that make sense? So my frame dimensions maybe are 9 by 7 when it's set up, but in a box it's flat. So now it's only, let's say, 8 by 10. Okay, something like that, or under because it's laid flat. But it has a box, so you may have some extra dimensions. So that's item dimensions and package dimensions. And then package weight and shipping weight will be the same. That's just the weight for one frame in a box. And then, guys, you are good to go to press save and finish. And you've just successfully created the listing. And now you know how to go in and work on your listing and finalize it up. That, guys, is going to wrap up this video, a full tutorial on how to create your first listing, what sections are super important, how to find those main keywords for your title and your listing. Let me know if you guys have any questions down below. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in my next video.